to Timmy Beck, this is a PSA. Don't try to be a hero. But, and I have an astronomically big but, here's where things really, and I mean really get interesting in this Georgia and Tennessee matchup. Hey! 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 Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope you like the intro. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope you're having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, it is time for the Georgia Bulldogs versus Tennessee Volunteers preview. Look, you forgot I was about to say there, but it's the Tennessee Volunteers versus Georgia preview / prediction video. Let's lock in. Let's get down to business. I do apologize. This video is uploaded only a day before the game, but it is what it is. There's been many other topics and many other videos we've been making this week, so I hope you guys understand. Better late than never, I guess, and it's not too late because if you keep up with the channel, you're still going to see this video before the game. First things first, I want to say this. Matt's going to toot his own horn a little bit, a chugga choo choo. I did pick Ole Miss to beat Georgia last week. And the reason I even bring that up is because almost every single comment on that video is saying, ha ha, Matt's delusional, terrible pick, yada yada yada, and oh, would you look at that? Who was right? Your boy Matt. To the people that were giving me credit, major shout out to you. And actually, let me do this. I found one comment that I really liked. Oh yeah, here it is right here. Major shout out to Jarvis Browner. I hope I'm saying your username correctly. He writes, I want to give you amazing credit, not just credit, but amazing credit at that, for calling the UGA loss for last week. They did not come ready to play. Wanted to throw that comment in this video and say I greatly appreciate those kind words. It's always nice occasionally to get a good old pat on the back in the comment section, because more times than not, it's just Matt getting roasted. You know how it is. But guess what, my friends? That's what comes with the job. I give you my opinion and you guys berate my opinion. So it is what it is. With all that being said, let's talk about these games. And I do want to talk about these other SEC games for a split second. Texas and Arkansas and LSU, Florida, and also Missouri and South Kakalaki. This Arkansas game with Texas does intrigue me because, believe it or not, Arkansas actually has a decent amount of talent this year, and this is their Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked if this game's close, especially if Quinn Ewers doesn't play that well. But there's just no way I can pick Arkansas on this one. Give me the Longhorns. Moving on down here to LSU, Florida. As where it stands right now, LSU is only a 3.5 point favorite. And for those of you who don't know, DJ Lagway is returning for this game. He is playing. That just changed a lot. And since Lagway's playing, I wouldn't be shocked if Florida wins. Florida is severely depleted in their secondary, so I expect Garrett Nussmeier, Kyron Lacy, and that entire LSU offense to have a field day. This one could be high scoring as well, because now that I think about it, LSU's defense ain't too great either. But I am going to roll with the LSU Tigers in this one. I think they bounce back, but it should be a good game. And last but not least, before we get into the main encore, top 25 matchup, a sneakily good one at that, the Missouri Tigers and South Kakalaki. According to old Eli Drinkowitz, Missouri's head coach, Missouri's still in the playoff hunt. That's his logic, not mine. And as for oh my goodness, I just saw this. South Carolina is a 14.5 point favorite. Sheesh. I expected Kakalaki to be favored because they're the much better team this year, but 14.5 is low-key crazy. I was saying they were going to be favored by like 3 or 4, not 14.5. So there's that. And I know Carolina fans don't want to hear this, but they're a couple plays away from being 8-1 and having a legit shot at making the playoff. Carolina's a solid team. I love their defense and I love their edge rushers. Missouri's defense isn't too great, so I don't think Lenore Sellers and that offense for South Carolina is going to struggle too much to put up points. Give me Kakalaki in that one. I don't think anybody's going to pick Missouri. Moving along here, though, let's talk about the game of the week with the Georgia Bulldogs and the Tennessee Volunteers. First things first, I got bad news for Georgia. Your starting quarterback is still Timmy Beck. And the bad part about Timmy Beck being your quarterback is he can single-handedly lose this game by himself. Heading into this game of matchup, Tennessee and Georgia are in completely different situations. The Tennessee players, coaches, fan base, they're at an all-time high and they're feeling great. Defense has been really good and it seems like the offense is slowly but surely figuring out their identity. On the flip side for Georgia, you're coming off a good old-fashioned butt-whooping from the lane train at Ole Miss. Carson Beck still sucks, and now it looks like your offensive line sucks as well. To go on top of that, your starting running back, Trevor Etienne, he's not going to be playing. Why is that bad news? Because one of your other running backs, Nate Frazier, fumbled not once but twice last week. And for the past couple of years, if you were a Georgia fan, you could point to, okay, well, we still got an NFL caliber defense, but this year that's not the case. They're not that great. Their defense is still good, but there's a big difference from good and great. They're not just going to shut somebody out. I mean, for example, Alabama hung up a 41 burger on them, and Ole Miss put up 28, and they could have had more. And Mississippi State, by the way, who's the worst team in the SEC, put up 31 on them. This is not the same Georgia defense we've come to know the past couple of years. And this game is so weird to analyze and break down because you would think heading into this matchup, Tennessee has all the momentum, and they don't have anything bad you can point to, so they should obviously be the favorites, right? Well, like our buddy Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. Georgia, as to when I'm speaking and making this video, is a 9.5-point favorite. Granted, it is a home game, but with all things considered, like I just told you, Georgia being a dang near 10-point favorite is low-key ridiculous. We're talking about a team that just got blown out, has severe quarterback problems and issues all around this team. And on the flip side, when you look at their opponent in this game, Tennessee's doing just fine. Tennessee's got one of the best defenses in the nation. Their offensive line been doing their job. They got one of the better running backs in the nation, Dylan Sampson, who, by the way, is highly underrated. And their quarterback, sure, he's not playing like a Heisman contender, but he's not losing the games. Georgia's problem with Carson Beck is he's going out here and putting the defense in terrible predicaments. But, and I have an astronomically big but, here's where things really, and I mean really, get interesting in this Georgia and Tennessee matchup. On paper, and even maybe the eye test for some of you, Nico Iamaleava is the best quarterback in this game, and it's not even close. If I were to ask you who's the best quarterback in this game, who are you taking to lead your team? I feel like 60, 70, maybe 80% of y'all say Nico. And I know what you're sitting there saying, well, Matt, why would I take Carson Beck? Even you've been saying it the past couple of weeks. He sucks. And yes, I agree. But for me, if I had to pick one quarterback in this game, believe it or not, I'm rolling with Timmy Beck. I've watched all the games. I've watched the film. Timmy Beck's problem is something very simple. And I know it's crazy for me to say this, eating cheesy puffs on the couch, evaluating these guys. But Carson Beck has an easy fix to his problem. The reason he's been throwing all these interceptions and making terrible passes is because he convinced himself he was something that he's not. Before the season, when everyone proclaimed him as a Heisman frontrunner, he's going to be the number one pick in the draft. He had a Lamborghini. He's got the smoking hot girlfriend, etc., etc. List goes on and on. He thought he was the top shot. He thought he was the top G, whatever you want to call it. He thought to himself, oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe I am like a Patrick Mahomes. Maybe I can launch the ball 30 yards down the field every single play and just dice up all these defenses. So you know what he tried to do every single time he trotted out there on the field? He tried hitting a home run. When in reality, all he needed to do and all he needs to do moving forward is hit a single. Take the dump off. Hit the running back in the flat. Hit your crossing routes that are only 5-7 yards. That's all you got to do. It's the way he did last year and it worked. Is it flashy? No. Is it exciting? No. Is it boring? Yes, but it gets the job done. You know why Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback to ever walk on this planet? Because he hit his check downs. He hit the running back in the flat. He hit the curl route for 10 yards. It wasn't because he could throw the ball 35 yards down the field accurately. He very rarely, if ever, did that, maybe a couple times per game. Carson Beck can be really good, but it starts with his mentality. He's got to change it. He has got to switch from, hey, I need to get a 20-yard pass every single play, to, okay, let's just check it down for 3 to 4 yards. If nothing's there, okay, I don't need to try to hit a home run. Let's just throw it out of bounds. Live to fight another play. What made A.J. McCarron so great at Alabama? Why did he win multiple national championships? Because when nothing was there off of the play action, he just threw it out of bounds. Carson Beck, from a talent perspective, he can be great. Not even really good. I'm talking about great. He has the arm talent. He has the arm accuracy. Right now, it's just mental. He's got to play smarter football, and until he starts playing smarter football, he's going to continue to suck. I say all that to say this. If I had to pick a quarterback in this game, I can't remember if I told y'all, but I'm going to say it again. I'm rolling with Beck. Will that come back to bite me in the butt? Maybe. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And I low-key forgot about this, but Nico is currently in the concussion protocol, so we don't even know if he's going to play. And there's some reports that have been coming out and leaked out that he is not going to play. So who knows what's going to happen there. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If Tennessee's backup quarterback is the starter and he's playing, Tennessee doesn't have a chance. Tennessee not going to win with that backup quarterback. That dude is cheeks. But getting back on track here with Carson Beck, I would love to see him go out here and just manage the game. And when people hear the term game manager, for some odd reason, they look down on it. I don't know why that's viewed as a negative term, because that's what a quarterback is supposed to be, managing the game. He touches the ball every single play. And occasionally, you take your home run shots, but here's the key word. Occasionally. Beck's been trying to take a home run shot every single other play. To Timmy Beck, this is a PSA. Don't try to be a hero. A wise man once told me sometimes less is more. And somebody needs to get that message across to Timmy Beck. Getting that out the way, as far as it goes for the rushing attack, it's not even close. Tennessee's got the edge there. And yeah, I mean, Dylan Sampson, that guy's a beast. And Georgia, their running back position, very weak this year. ETN's been all right, but after him, nothing too impressive. And like I said, Nate Frazier, he's got fumbling issues. Dylan Sampson's a workhorse. And here's the bad news for Georgia. If you can't stop Sampson, you're not going to win this game. When Tennessee has the ball, we know what to expect. They want to establish the run, and Nico's going to have maybe 5 to 6 deep shots. If he hits them, great. If he doesn't, whatever. Tennessee doesn't have a high-powered offense this year, and I think Josh Heupel's 100% fine with that because he knows his defense makes up for it. They want to run the ball, control the game, and wear teams down in the second half, and that's what they did to Alabama. I expect that Georgia defense to be flying all over the field against Tennessee, and I think they're going to play some really inspired football because their backs are against the wall. They got to win out and just have a chance. Let's go back to when Georgia has the ball on offense versus that Tennessee defense. The bad news for Georgia, like we talked about, your starting running back, he's out for the game. So it's looking like this game's going to come down to Timmy Beck, which for Georgia fans, that's probably not what you like to hear, but it is what it is. And here's where the problem arises with that. If you were going to pass a lot in this game, that is not good news for Georgia's offensive line because you're playing arguably the best edge rushers you played up until this point. I say his name every time we talk about him. I'm going to continue to say his name. James Pierce Jr., watch out. If you had a hard time stopping Ole Miss, you're going to have just as hard, if not a harder time, to stop Tennessee. But, and I have another big but, with Georgia being at home, I think they're going to be more calm, cool, and collected than we've seen them in some of their road games. And that is one thing people should be talking about a little bit more. Yeah, Georgia has struggled this year, but look at their 2 losses. Those are on the road in hostile SEC environments, at Ole Miss and at Alabama. And there's 2 things I love about Georgia in this game. Number 1, their backs are against the wall. They have to win. And number 2, they have the better head coach. I love, and I can't emphasize this enough, I love me some Kirby Smart. Love his philosophies. I love everything about him. He's a mini Nick Saban, and I don't mean that as shade or disrespect. For some odd reason, Georgia fans take that as disrespect when you compare Kirby to Saban. I don't know why, because Saban's the GOAT. I digress. You get what I'm saying. He's a mini Nick Saban. He's just like him. I love me some Kirby Smart. I think he is currently the best head coach in all of college football. He's going to have that team ready to play, and if Nico goes out there, I expect him to have a couple of freshman mistakes against that Georgia defense that is extremely hungry. You know what doesn't show up on the stat sheet leading up into this game? How hungry this Georgia football team is. These dudes want it, and they want it bad. And ironically enough, it's a complete opposite situation from last week. Whose backs were against the wall last week? Who needed a win and who was at home? Ole Miss. Well, now, whose backs are against the wall? Who needs a win? And who's also playing at home? Georgia. I picked Georgia to lose last week, and this week, I'm flipping the script. I got the Georgia Bulldogs beating the Tennessee Volunteers, and I can't even call it an upset because Georgia's favored. I got the Bulldogs in this one, 31 to Tennessee's 20. Very confident in that score. Yet again, Georgia 31, Tennessee 20. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.